Welcome to Bitcoin Technical Analysis. Today we have George, technical analyst, BTC Vix from Whale Club TeamSpeak, and we also have Bobby from the ItBit OTC trading desk. Thanks for coming on today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Great. Okay, George, you wanted to talk about the US dollar and interest rates?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously today was a big day in the sense that everyone was waiting to see what the Fed would do. They came out with their decision, and they did not raise interest rates, which was not a surprise, but a surprise at the same time. I think it's a little too early to read too much into it as far as what the markets are going to say. You got to let the dust settle and I guess let the pundits talk about it and see what they're thinking. But the first thing I'd say is that they definitely helped the emerging markets out because the dollar has weakened as a result of that, and here's a chart showing that. So as you can see, the dollar is coming into critical support on two levels. One is the 200-day moving average, and then I drew this blue line across, which is about at 93.90. As the U.S. dollar weakens, it could be a boon for some emerging markets economies who they're priced in U.S. dollars, a lot of their debt, and their currencies might get a little bit of a break. However, I don't know how big that will play into anything because there is still the expectation that there will be a rate rise before the end of the year. So U.S. dollar may stay strong as a result of that. Second chart I'll look at is the 10-year yield, which I always find to be the most important of all bonds. As we talked about last week, you had this big tightening of all three of the moving averages, so it was looking for a big move. You start to get that big move coming out of yesterday, the day before. I guess there were some people who were betting on a rate rise, and then today you go right back down to that level that's got all three of these things compressed. I think you still expect a big move one way or the other. Market hasn't decided yet what to make of it, it seems. And like I said, as the dust settles, we'll find out that in the next couple of days. Next chart I have here is looking at shorter term spreads on bonds, the 1 to 3 year. It spiked today. That's the bond price itself, not the yield. So obviously yields go down, bond price goes up. So the shorter term is also thinking that we're going to kick the can down the road a little bit as well. Next chart I have is a chart of the commodities. I was trying to see if anything came out of today as far as what they look like. Still in this kind of pattern here where they're consolidating and bottoming out, but nothing to really write home about. Still waiting to see if anything happens there. Potentially with the U.S. dollar coming off a bit, you'll have a little alleviation and you could get a short-term rally here, but today it didn't do anything at all. Not really that surprising. Another thing I look at is the S&P. How did that act today? Well, you got this really weird candle going into support here at the 50-day moving average. Came back down all the way right into this 1990 level, which is kind of a good support level now after the last move we've had from the bottom. Came all the way back up here, fell back down there, and then now it's back around 1990. I think if it holds in here and goes higher, you have some more rally in you, but potentially we're still looking to see if that's the bottom. And then finally, one last thing I have here is the VIX, which I always look at to see about volatility in the market and where we're headed. Well, you had that move, as I was saying for weeks, anything under 25 looks good. You actually got down today all the way to this 1815 level, but it came back up as the market was all over the place. So still a little bit of volatility holding above the 50-day, but still in a place where it's coming off. So we'll see. That should be pretty decent for markets to have more room to rally. And then finally, just because we haven't talked about it in a few weeks, and it does have links to Bitcoin, is the Chinese market. You got that death cross a couple days ago where the 50-day crossed the 200, and since then it's kind of just been lingering in this bottoming process here, and you got a big day yesterday. It kind of looks like there's a bullish engulfing candle forming, and the RSI hasn't come off. It's actually improving. So I don't know if that's a bottom yet or not, but again, we are seeing consolidation at really low levels in the Shanghai, but it's not really telling us much as far as the next move, another consolidation pattern really. Maybe after today's Fed and what comes out of that, we might get some relief in a lot of these emerging markets, like I said, and potentially get some upside. And that's all I have for today. Thanks.
Okay, thanks a lot, George. Okay, Vix, what's going on with the Bitcoin price?
All right, well, we'll just do a little bit of a review as far as where we were last week. So I have my crosshairs basically where we did our last show, and I said I was pretty neutral to leaning slightly bearish, and actually I tweeted out some pretty good stuff as far as my calls, even though I mean I make calls that are wrong all the time too, so I'm very open about that. But as we came into the weekend, it was this 4-hour pivot on Spider Crusher here that really gained my interest, as well as what I would call both Willy divergence. Basically, we tried to make a new high here. We're unable to have the Willy make a new high, as well as the MACD. There's a tremendous amount of divergence going in there. So I rode this short down pretty well along with Flibber. That was a very profitable short. We got chopped up a little bit here, thought we were going to take another stab down, and it was kind of a fake out. So kind of brings us to where we are right now. And we've had a good little push up here, basically back into this resistance level here. So cautiously bullish at this point, but we're going into settlement, so I'm anticipating this is just going to kind of hold this level here going forward. I did do a long tutorial with Danny Jassy, who does the Spider Crusher software, and here's the bar to bar, and basically what I'm looking at here is basically when we go from a triangle to a diamond, and we're seeing that develop here, which should be the first early signs of a trend, at least on this 4-hour chart. So that does have me mildly bullish at this point, but I try not to trade around the settlement days, which is today and tomorrow. So I'll probably take a better look at this come Saturday. So that's basically all I have for Bitcoin right now.
Okay, I also wanted to ask where's the volume on what exchange right now, because I think that's changed lately, and now it's been a few weeks. Has that settled that Bitstamp has the most volume now, or what would you say?
It certainly appears there's much more activity going on at Bitstamp. I can just pull over my chart here. Let's see here, 15 minutes. I mean, we're getting a little bit more volume over at Stamp compared to what we've seen in the prior months. Seems like they have an algorithm running on there that's washing some volume. I know Nate is not going to be real happy with me saying that, but it certainly seems like there's more bot activity going on there, kind of in the wake of a lot of the fallout from Bitfinex. I know we have some more recent stuff, even as the last couple days, concerning CFTC inquiries to Bitfinex and other swap and derivatives facilities. So it might be a little too early to say how that's going to affect things, but it's certainly on all of our trader radars right now.
Okay, thanks. All right, Bobby, thanks for coming on today again, and I'd really like to hear what you have to say about the over-the-counter market, because we don't always hear a lot about that. I mean, there's not a lot of public data out there, so what can you tell us? What's going on the OTC market?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys letting me join the TeamSpeak here. So basically, when we had launched the exchange, we wanted to figure out a service that would kind of differentiate us. And with my background in securities trading and having built trading desks, what we naturally thought, well, I knew there was a lot of over-the-counter trading that was happening, let's call it peer-to-peer, among different institutions, different traders, that was happening outside of the exchanges. And so we wanted to basically try to bring on that market onto ItBit. And so it's been about 3 months And essentially what it is every single client that has an ItBit account is able to use the monies or the Bitcoin that they have on their account to access the active market, which is the exchange, right? So they can go ahead and trade in the active markets. But we also allow them to trade in the OTC markets with those funds. And so let me just run down some quick stats. Again, we just launched this thing in June. We're still ramping things up. But on average, the daily trading volume just on the OTC desk alone, which is the volumes, prices, and the trades are not being published yet, but we will be issuing a monthly newsletter that will capture all that data, which I think will be important for the technical guys like yourselves, but also just in general what's going on in this kind of opaque market, let's call it. But on average, the daily trading volume is between 1 and 1.5 thousand Bitcoins traded. Our week-over-week trading growth has been 140%. We do somewhere between 5 to 10 trades per day. We've traded in over 12 countries. And I ran some early numbers this morning, and basically the OTC activity alone does more volume than about 80% of the exchanges worldwide. It's not surprising because obviously there's a huge consolidation of the major exchanges at the top and a bunch of smaller players worldwide. And so hopefully the data that we start producing, and the first one will be released in early October for a recap of what had happened thus far since launch. Hopefully that data will be important to people to see that there's actually a lot of trading that's actually happening around the spot market. I took a look at our data before hopping on the call and wanted to basically see where the prices were shaking out in terms of where the discount or the premium was to the spot market where all these trades were happening. And it was actually within about 9 basis points on average, right? So you have, and again, the minimum trade size is 100 Bitcoins to trade OTC. So you basically have all this activity that's happening around the spot market that's not being reflected on any exchanges, on any API feeds or anything like that. So hopefully that'll bring more transparency into the market, but also show and help technical guys or just traders in general that, look, there's actually a lot of flow going on away from the exchanges or outside the exchanges that needs to whether just be thought about or incorporated into models to understand that, some of the, let's say some of the large sales that happen on the exchanges that just kind of drive the price down, well, that can be avoided if they are able to access an OTC desk at the markets like that.
Okay, great. So can you tell us, have you seen a rise in volume in 2015, or so sorry, you've only been open since June. Have you seen it go up every month, or has it been up and down?
Yeah, so week over week, it's the volumes have grown about 140%, right? So we've definitely seen, and a part of that, it's not so much that maybe there's more trading volume in the OTC world occurring, but it's more that we're maybe capturing more of that market share and getting kind of our name out there. We will be marketing more of this product just because, at least from our analysis or research, we haven't found one U.S. exchange venue that offers this service. But I had initially speculated before kind of entering this market that, let's say that the exchange, let's just say in general, the exchanges trade 100,000 coins per day. I kind of anticipated that OTC-wise, the OTC trades or volume is somewhere between 50 to 75% of that market, right? So if you have 100,000 coins trading every single day on the markets or on the active exchanges, there's another 50 to 75,000 coins that are trading outside of these exchanges or these markets that are happening OTC. So the full scope of Bitcoin trading is actually a lot larger than what's being published out there.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I just have one more question. What are the fees like on a OTC trade over at ItBit?
Yeah, so we're a trust company here at ItBit, and so we are not a broker-dealer, so we don't charge a brokerage fee. And for this, along with kind of our exchange, we are not charging any fees at this time. We're basically one-to-one, see if this could be a viable service for our clients, which I think we validated. And two, we wanted to basically induce more liquidity into our exchange, which I think we've done. I'm pretty sure our market share has grown over the past, let's call it, since our U.S. launch in May. I think we're sitting at about 11 to 12%. I think pre-launch we were like 3% or something. And so really what this is to just lubricate more trading volume. We are thinking about a fee structure, but it will be more of a, let's call, flat basis point fee.
Okay, thanks a lot for that.
I have a little bit to add, actually.
Please, yeah.
If you just go to my screen here, I wanted to just reiterate the point about this kind of if we're in the early parts of a trend, and I just kind of highlighted it's almost like a fractal here, basically, of when it happened in this earlier run-up, and that's kind of what I'm anticipating happen here. I just put a little kind of P&L target here for risk reward as far as what I'm looking at. It's probably a little too rosy. I don't know if we'll get quite that high up, but that's why I'm also anticipating it kind of being us digesting this level over the next 1 to 2 days. These are 4-hour candles, so we're only talking about 5-6 candles in here. Basically to get through this, and then I'll be looking for some upside into the weekend even. But short term, just to even go zoom in a little closer, these internals need to be resolved on the 15-minute. And with settlement coming up, I'm just anticipating this tightening up and resetting the indicators. So that's all I really have to add to kind of my BTC outlook. I'm just sitting on my hands right now.
All right, well, that's it for this time of Bitcoin technical analysis. Be sure to thumbs up this video, comment below. Also check out the links in the description. Be sure to subscribe to the channel World Crypto Network so that you can see us next week at the same time. Thanks a lot, and talk to you soon.